Hello, 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 Cheers, Kevin here, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Agoraphobia, meaning we don't go outside and we try and program the robot into doing all the going outsideness for us because we're scared. Anyway, welcome back. Very excited today because I think we're actually going to be able to do some Minecrafty stuff, which is not stuff we've been able to do for a while. I'm going to sleep so that we don't spawn bunches of extra monsters. But of course, before we actually start doing stuff in Minecraft, we need to finish up the script that we started writing. Hello, Spider. Calming down. Oh my gosh, look at all the things that are so on fire. All right. Last episode, we were working on a script. We need to go ahead and finish up make some very small improvements to that script. There I actually have a comment up here by Zach Sharp on my other monitor, leaving a suggestion for something that we should do. He says, watching the video, it doesn't immediately pop out which tests are failing or passing, because in the last episode, we were using test-driven development to design our Android library to make movement something that we could express more clearly. Zach says, perhaps coloring the check and the X would help. From an extremely limited research, it looks like ANSI characters would work. So, let's jump over to the code real quick and take a look at exactly... Oh my gosh, the UI is all messed up. Hang on a second. Oh yeah, the UI is scaling. That's what's going on. Video settings. I was trying to figure out if I could maximize this thing without full screening it so it wouldn't keep on freezing all the time, but I kind of gave up on that. Where is the... What? Go scale. Normal. There we go. Sure. Large. Auto. Sure. Auto. Go ahead, auto. Autobots, assemble. Okay, there we go. All right, now, let's jump back over to the world of code, and we can talk a little bit about what's going on. So, when we last left off, I don't have it running. Here's what we were working on. We had this Android library that we were working on, and it has all these steps for moving, and it exports this whole library and stuff, and that's wonderful. And we wrote a test. It says, hey, Android move will call robot functions. We said, all right, Android move. When we pass it F, we'll call forward, and it calls them in sequence as well. We have, all right, we'll create fake robot methods, and we'll say, hey, do you call them in the right order? And we have this very long test that does that. Of course, I think we probably could just clean this up we could make these one-liners like we did. There, wherever? Yeah, see how we've got one-liner functions there? We can go ahead and do that. Let's do that, right? I'm going to record a macro real quick because, hey, Vim is fun. I'm going to start here. Actually, no, we'll just do it. There, and there. There we go. Those can be one-liners, and that'll just clean this thing right up. And we were using this test basically to ensure that when we were designing our library, we knew how it would be used. That's one of the really great things about test-driven development. Not so much that like, oh, you have tests that'll tell you when something breaks. Those are important to have, but honestly, they're not the main reason to design stuff test first. The main reason to design stuff test first is so you don't end up writing a whole bunch of code that you're not going to end up using because you don't know exactly before something exists how you want it to exist. And so we can go, okay, well, I want to be able to say Android move flurbud and have it do specific things. And we go, okay, well, now I know I need to write the code so that it does exactly that. And of course, if we wanted to be fancy, we could indent these or something. Yeah. No. There. An indent. And indent. And indent. So now it's a little cleaner. Now I can go ahead and run this test by just running it in Lua. And there we go. This is the problem, though, that Zach was talking about. And that is, it's kind of hard to tell whether something is passing or failing. In fact, let's make one of these fail. Let's go ahead and say we expected flurlud instead of flurbud. And now we have, oh no, passing and failing. And that's not great. But it's kind of hard to go, well, which one exactly is going on, because this is all just plain text. What Zach is suggesting is that we actually colorize things. Now, colorizing things is very fun. I actually have, you take a look up here, there's a little $sign in the top left of the screen. It's something that I've set up for my own use. And I can go ahead and, let's see, if I'm here, and I say ls, I can look at all the files, and this thing is green. Now, this thing is green because it means the last command that I ran worked. So it's green. Now, if I try and run flibbity-boo, and it says command not found. And now I have a little red thing, meaning, hey, the last thing you ran was not so good. But if I run something that does work, then it turns green again. The reason I can do this, let's open up my .files. Lots of secret stuffs here. Not secret stuffs. This is in my bash prompt. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of random crazy escape codes. We're not going to talk too much about escape code. Well, I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're not going to go into this because this is kind of messy. Forgot kind of how messy this was. And this also checks Git repository status and sometimes turns the thing yellow as well. And it's a mess. But the point of it is there's a command called echo. I'm going to say echo hello. Well, we'll put it in quotes. Why not? Hello. there we go. And it says hello. But let's say I want that thing to be, green. I want hello to be green. Well, I can say 033, which is just an escape code. And it basically is a way of saying, hey, don't actually print this out. Tell the thing tell the console that it should turn red. Now, this isn't going to work by default. I have to pass a flag to echo. Oh, sorry. That's red. Good job, me. And that does stuff. And it just so happens that because this is colorizing, it will actually reset. So this is going to be like that. If I put a new line in here and say goodbye, it's gonna continue to type these as red, even though it probably shouldn't, based on what we want. So the question becomes, hey, is that something that we can do inside Lua as well? So let's go ahead and test that out. I'm going to go ahead and launch Lua, and we'll say print 03331M hello. And by default, that does not work. And we get an exclamation mark, which is not great. Now, I did spend a tiny little bit of time playing around with this, though. And hey, look at that, 027. That escape code does happen to work. So we're going to go with that. Now, of course, there's a problem, and that is the way these escape codes work is they're not just sort of some injected like, hey, read the rest of the words. It says, hey, terminal, whenever you're going to type anything at all, switch your mode, turn red on. And so we actually have to turn red off at the end of this. I'm going to go ahead and say 0M. So it's the same sort of sequence, this \027, open bracket 0, open bracket, and then the color. So I could make it 30, let's see, 30, what did I do before? 30, okay, 32. Now it's going to be green. All the stuff I'm typing is green because 31 is red, 32 is green. If I go to 0, it's going to reset back to normal. So it'll print off red, and then we're back to normal down here. So that's good. Now let's go ahead and actually look at our test library and see if we can clean that up. Let's go into test. And now here we go. Here's what we're typing out. I actually don't like that the check mark and the X are different heights. So I'm going to use a lowercase, and we'll go ahead and just do that. 027. Let's see. 32M. Is that right? And let's go back to our test and run. Oops, that's not our test. There's our test. Run that. Okay, now everything is green, but we didn't escape the end of it because we're bad people. That's fine. We'll go ahead and ... and say 027. 0M. So we'll say, hey, terminal, change to green. And then, boom, hey, terminal, change to red. Or sorry, change back to normal. And that'll do what it's supposed to do. And we'll do the same thing here. We're just going to change that to red, and we'll change this to an X. And let's take a look. Whoop, nope. There we go. Run our tests. All right, whoops, I went yellow instead of red. That's not good. All right. Let's go ahead and change that to red. What did I do? Oh, right. 31 is the color for, yes. Okay. Nope, because there are no tests in there. Nope. Okay, this. Yeah, there we go. Now, our test library is even cooler, right? Our test library is pretty awesome because it tells us, hey, there's something going on that's not so great. And actually, what we could do as well, we could actually just print this thing off as its own. We could print the, hey, go back to normal thing as its own line. And then just, yeah. And then just get rid of that there. And then if we run it, now this whole thing is in red. I don't think I actually like that though. And it also adds a new line, which I'm not a fan of. Although we could just say, we do it like this, and this should work as well. There we go. Now the whole broken part ends up pretty clear, but I think because we're making the whole thing green, I don't particularly care to do that. So I'm going to undo. Oh, shoot. I switched files, and so it loses my changes. That's fine. 027, 0M. Whoops. 0M. ANSI escape characters. Really fancy, awesome stuff. And it does make this a lot clearer. Now it's very clear, hey, this is the test that is broken. Let's go ahead and fix that. In this case, we're just going to fix it by changing our test rather than changing our code, but that's fine. Let's go through here and just really quickly clean up this thing, because this thing is dumb also. There we go. And I just want to align these so that we can tell what's going on. And yeah, these are all our tests. Now we're down to 36 lines of test code for something that probably doesn't need that many lines of test code, but that's okay. And actually, this test, testing that calls robot stuff is already, the logic there is already encapsulated in the second test, because this is testing these things go in a particular order. Android move calls functions in sequence. Android move calls functions in sequence. These are the exact same tests. That's not great. Actually, you know what the issue here is, that the name of this test is bad. The name, what this is testing is that, hey, this will actually handle calling forward multiple times because we passed a 2 here. So if I say go forward 5 spaces, I can say F5. What's happening here is that the name for our test is bad. So I'm going to say Android move, let's see, handles multipliers, movement multipliers. Movement, direction multipliers. There we go. Now that test, the name of the test tells us what is going on, which is good, because then if it's broken, if we break it and then we rerun this, we can see, hey, what's broken? Oh, the Android move doesn't handle direction multipliers. Then the name of our test failure gives us a hint as to what is going wrong and what it is that we need to fix. So that's good. We'll undo that, and I'm going to say we can delete this test. Goodbye, test. It was very helpful, and then it helped us develop our code, but it's not going to be useful to keep around, because then if we ever do change things, we've got a whole bunch of different extra code that we've got to worry about. Okay, so now we've done all of this junk. Let's see. We've got tests that are going nicely. We've got Android here. There is one thing that I actually want to try, and I don't know if this is going to work. So the way that our Android code is basically we have this move function. We say, okay, for every step in, we pattern match the string, so we get out, if we take F2, B3, whatever, it's going to say F2 is a thing, is a step, and then we're going to go, okay, if there is a multiplier, then do it multiple times, otherwise just do it once, and yeah, so it just goes through that list. And the way that it does that is it actually looks, and we've got a dictionary of what it should do for each particular token. So we say, hey, if you see an F, this is the function you should call. It's a function that calls robot.forward. What I want to see if we can make, if this works though, is I want to see if I can just pass robot forward without the parentheses and say, here, just that's the name of the thing you should call, rather than having to put it in a function of its own. This may totally not work. I have our tests, so yep, nope, doesn't work. Intended to index robot. Nah, okay. So it's not okay with that. Let's see here. Actually, if we put this before robot, though, can we do that? Aha! Attempted to call no value, though. 19. Whoops. Yep, we're done updating our tests. 19 steps step. Okay, so nope, it's not happy with that. That is okay. That's fine. We'll keep it like this for now. We may wanna change stuff in the future, but hey, this works for me, and we will leave it alone. I figured that might save us a little bit of hassle in a moment, but let's jump back to, actually, no, we need to, so yeah, we'll jump back to the game. Hello, game. Have you missed us? It's been a long time. Okay, so Vinny is here, and I've actually, I left some stuff running I should not have. Okay, I was looking at, so we have all these files in here. I can say edit src test, which we just modified. And you can see there are those escape codes there. So that's pretty cool. Come on, be done. And actually, I wonder, can I run test / Android test? Is that gonna run here? Nope, it's angry about something. It doesn't like, it does not like, and it does not seem to want to run in the same way that it ran for us. But that's okay. Wait. Although actually, no, maybe there is an error. Let's look real quick. Let's see if the test passes here, because I may have just not updated stuff. Yeah, no, I did it wrong. Okay, I broke something. Online 2. Oh, right. Yes. Okay, thank you, Vinny. You caught an error. And now if we go back and run this, okay, now that works. And so let's see if we can run the test inside the game, because it should in theory run. Do it now. Android test, and attempted to index global robot. Attempted to index global robot. So it's not happy about that at all. It's not happy about the fact that it's trying to call stuff on robot, and robot does not exist. So, but that's okay. We won't worry about that just yet. What I'm going to do, just to be lazy, is I'm going to copy. I think I can do copy. Right, yes. Okay, copy src Android. I'm going to copy that into, let's see, is there a lib? Actually, let's just look at what's in lib. I think, yeah, okay. We're going to copy Android. Let's see, is robot in there? Yes, robot is in lib. So I'm going to copy Android into lib. I think eventually we'll want to go ahead and actually put it in. We'll want to change our path so we can require things from both places, but let's try this now. I want to require, let's see, I think we already have robot, don't we? Yes, it exists. Okay. I want to say require Android. And let's see, Android. Whoops. It exists. All right, so we required Android. Good. Now I want to try something. I want to try Android.move F. Oh, no. Uh-huh. And attempted to index global robot a nil value. Okay. So it can't do things in the way that we did them. So, not sure why. Let's try and figure out why. Let's go into lib and take a look at this code that other folks have written, right? Sure. Let's look at robot and see how they handle things like that. Local components equal sides. So what they're doing is they're actually requiring the thing. They're requiring their dependencies inside this file. Now, the reason that we didn't do that, we can jump back over into code world real quick. The reason we didn't do that is because we wanted in our test to be able to say, hey, robot.forward is going to be a pretend function for right now. That's something we'll have to sort out. So what I think we're going to do at this point is break the tests, because don't want to worry about it. Let's go into Android, and we'll put it up here, and we'll say, let's see, require, what did they, no, yeah, require, robot, what was it, local robot equals require robot. And now this should still work, but all our tests are going to be, so the test is very confused because it doesn't know what robot is, because the robot isn't a real thing. Package.preload, it's possible that we can somehow create like a fake thing. Actually, let's see if we can do that. Package.preload robot equals this. Maybe, I want to see. Maybe we can sneak away with this and just get it to not fail. Robot's not found. But that's a different error, isn't it? I forget. This? Nope. Right. Dashes. Nope, that's the same. Okay, so that's the same error. Preload.robot. Okay. Package.preload robot. No field package.preload robot. Well, anyway. That's okay. That's okay. Our test is going to be broken, but that's fine. Let's jump back into Codeland and start making some modifications, right? Okay. So, they're doing this here. Local thing is the thing that I need. So they're not giving us, so rather than putting things globally available, they're saying, hey, this is the thing I need. Actually, let's go ahead and just remove Android.lua. Let's go back to our home directory. And if I run Lua now, I should be able to say local Android equals require, I think, src Android. Android? What's Android? Yes, okay, it's fine. So if I now say Android.move F, it did it. Okay, cool. So Android.move B. Now that did that. So that's wonderful. Now let's go ahead and write a quick script. Let's go ahead and say move test.lua. Now move test is, whoops, no, edit move test.lua. Now, what I'm going to have it do is very, very, very simple. So I'm just going to say local Android equals require src Android. And I think that'll be okay for right now. What that means is that this interpreter in here is handling the, hey, let's put the current directory inside the path, I think. So it's finding the Lua file, whereas it wouldn't have done that on our Linux box. This is all sorts of confusing to me, but I think if it works, it's fine. So okay, then we'll say Android.move, and I'm just going to make it go in a bit of a circle. So I'm going to say up to, forward to, down to. Actually, no. Yes, up to. Forward to, down to, left, left to. Forward to, left to. All right, so this should, so that's a long sequence. Basically, it should make it move in a bit of a square, and that should be fine. Let's go ahead and save that, and we'll go ahead and say move test. and it goes up, and it goes forward, it goes down, and it turns around, it comes back, and turns around. So there we go. Of course, it doesn't actually, we don't have to have it do that. Let's go ahead and edit move test. No. Edit move test.lua. It can move backward, can't it? Yeah, so we don't need to do this whole turning thing. We'll just say back to, and there's a reason that I'm having it do this stupid test. It's not just because I'm silly. There we go, let's just make sure this works. Goes down, goes back. Good job, Vinny. All right, now the reason I want to do this is I'm going to now stand right here, and we want to see what happens, because this is part of the thing that we want to be able to correct here. And see, there we go. Now it's in a broken state. So it tried and it failed, but it's not handling any sort of failure stuff. So we're going to have to update our Android script. And that's also kind of why I wanted to require it from SRC Android and not put it in our library. So now we've got an issue, and that is that if it fails to do this thing, the bad things happen. So let's go ahead and edit SRC Android. And well, actually, no, before we do that, let's just look at Lua. Actually, no. Now I wonder if this will work. Now that we're requiring the robot, I think we can probably just do this. Maybe. I want to see if that'll work. Let's save and close, and then let's say robot.down, robot.down, just to put it back in its starting state, and then we'll say move test. Just there, and yes, it did move forward, so now we don't have to have those extra wrappers. Hooray for us. That was just an issue because we were using that whole, hey, pretend this whole thing exists randomly thing. All right, so we don't need to have these extra wrapper functions. Can I? No, I can't. All right. Oh, man, I miss my editor, guys. All right. But we have this working. Now, the question is, how do we get this to handle not being able to move where it wants to move? And that's something that we're going to test in just a moment. Now, of course, we're not saying call it. What we're saying is, hey, the R value and the U value and all these letters correspond to a particular function. So we're referring to the function name. We're not referring to the value returned by the function. That's why we don't want to have these parentheses here. We want to leave the parentheses off. So we're saying, hey, B is associated with the concept of moving backward, not the result of moving backward, if that makes any sense. Okay, so the places where we actually, this line that I'm navigating around, and this line, let's see, step. Oh, right, because, yeah, these lines are the two where we actually do the movement, and so they're the ones where we're going to want to check what the return value is. So let's get out of here. Let's go into Lua. I'm going to stand directly in front of Vinny. Hi, Vinny. Ready for some experiments? We'll say robot.forward. And it returns the result. It returns. It doesn't block. It doesn't stop and wait. And if I get out of the way, though, it doesn't move. It basically ignored us. Let's see what the result is of that. If I do equals, just say, give me back nil and entity. So we get back something. Now let's see how that changes if we go here. True. Okay, so we get true, and that's good. Let's go robot.back. And I want to test another thing. What happens if that's in the way? Let's do that. Robot.forward. We get nil and solid. Okay, so that's fine. Now we have three different possible outputs here. We can get true, we can get nil entity, and we can get nil solid. And yeah, okay, this syntax, okay, the indenting is weird. I think what we can actually do is assign these to. We can say value and reason equals robot.forward. There we go. And now I can say print val. Print val. Nil. And I can say print reason. Cool. Now, is that going to work? See, it's returning back two whole things. So I'm kind of concerned what's going to happen when it only gives us back true. What ends up here in reason? Nothing. Okay, so there's just no reason. Okay, fine. But that means that we can just track whether or not we got a true or false value and worry about that way. So, let's jump back over to Code World and see if we can clean that up. Okay, so we're going to ignore a test again. I'm gonna have to play around with that a little bit outside here to see if we can fix that up. Oh man, I love that this whole change we made is already in here. That's wonderful. Okay, so steps, direction, and steps. These are the things that we're going to need to do. Basically, we need to do like a while, true, do, I don't know, something like this. No, end. Steps, direction, do. Let's see. So what did we just do? We just did result, error equals this. And we'll do the same thing here. Actually, here we go. While true, do, end. Whoops. And then I will say here if result. Can I just do break if result? Maybe. Who's to say? This may be just fine. So then we'll say, hey, if we did it, then we're good, right? Result, then break. That looks a little more correct. Maybe. Who knows? Probably not. Nope. I think this is going to be a problem. Do? Nope. All right, let's go ahead and look up some Lua. Oh my, I left some stuff running. All right, Lua, while true, while loop. Let's look. Oh wait, repeat until. That's probably even better because then we don't have to do a check at the beginning. Loops. Come on. Where were we? Lua repeat. Here we go. Repeat while blah, blah, blah. Now this means we can actually do the thing until... And then check it, so we don't actually have to do a while true. So let's just use that. Repeat. Result is this. While. Let's see. While result. Not result. All right. Cool. Okay. The syntax highlighting is a little confused though. Let's see. Repeat. Blah 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 blah. Until, oh, okay, cool. Repeat, blah, 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 until result. So now we're not doing anything to care about what the error is. We're just, okay, now the syntax highlighting seems to be okay. And I think we probably don't need, well, we'll take these off. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see what happens. All right, let's jump back over. And I will jump back over as well. And I'll exit here. And... what are you doing? Robot? No. Robot.back. All right, and I'm going to stand here. And we will say robot. We will say move test. Now it goes up, tries to move forward, goes down, and it cannot go back. But if I move, no, that didn't work. Boo. All right, well, we don't have to edit the move test. We know the move test works. Let's edit our Android file. What? Oh, Vim does not exist. Edit. All right, let's see here. Let's see, print. Let's go ahead and do some printing. We'll say, whoops, no. Print. Trying. Whoops. Now, let's say print trying, and then we'll print result, and we'll print error. And can I copy this? I don't know. Let's just do that here. Print trying, result, error. And we'll save that and close it. And we'll say Lua robot.back, and twice. And we'll do the same thing. I'm going to stand here where you're going to try and come down. And we'll say move test. And we'll watch. It doesn't print anything out. Why doesn't it print anything out? Shame on you for not printing anything out. Let's take a look at our code. Let's jump in here. Start out repeat. Else until... Oh, whoops. Let's load that up again. Nope. SRC Android. Trying. All right, result error equals this. Now that is interesting. That is very interesting. At the very least, it should print something out. But for whatever reason, it does not. That is fascinating. Well, Well, okay, we're going to have to go ahead and take a look at this, I guess, in the next episode, because we're getting a little tight on time. But the idea is that we should be able to... Very interesting. Robot down and down. We basically... So the goal should be for us to eventually get SoC, Android... the goal is that eventually what we can do is in here we can say, hey, try and move in this direction. And then we could say, if error equals entity, because that's the person is in the way, then we'll just wait. So we'll do something like that. You know, sleep or wait or whatever the equivalent is in Lua. So wait a few seconds and then try again. Or we could say, hey, if the error equals solid, then hey, there's something in the way, and then we'll say dig. Or swing, rather. Or we will have to be careful because we may need to go swing up or swing down if we're trying to move in those directions. But if we're trying to move forward, well then hey, we know what to do. We can actually set a whole, we can probably set a separate functions for, hey, here's how you clear out the area. If you're trying to go back and you can't go back, well, then you need to turn left, swing, and yeah, do all of that. But we will do that in the next episode. As soon as I'm going to have to play around with this a little bit and try and figure out why exactly this isn't working. But we'll figure that out very soon. In the meantime, we've made our testing library a little bit better. We have tested that this Android stuff works. We'll probably go back. Hopefully, I'll be able to find a way to get our tests working cleanly as well for the next episode. But I will hope to see you then. Cheers.